This is Agent Jordan Key. I arrived safely at Moonshine, Oregon to investigate the body that washed up on the shore of Cooper's Lake. She's been identified as a librarian named Marnie Keeler. I won't lie to you, Bev, it's certifiably odd. She got a blow to the back of the head, a discoloration around her wrists, crystals embedded in her neck from a missing necklace, and they found her with a torn strand of cassette tape. Also, her husband fell into a coma 2 weeks ago in equally mysterious circumstances. I should tell you I was greeted by the welcoming sheriff, Harmony Stone. She made it sound like foul play is not typical here in Moonshine. I also met a less welcoming coroner, Steve Crockett. He made it sound like I'm not the first out-of-towner to come here snooping around. Well, in my experience, little towns can have big secrets. I doubt Moonshine will disappoint. Speaking of Moonshine, it's getting dark out. I'm headed to the Finch Hotel, where I hear there's a room waiting for me. Let's hope we can shine some light on things tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. That was fantastic. Oh, that is perfect. That's just the vibe. Wow. Holy cow.
You know, sometimes I edit out interstitial, commentary like that, but when it's so positive, I have to leave it in so people know how good I did.
Oh, yes. As a Twin Peaks fan, I fully approve. And as the author of this exhibit, I also approve.
I have to say, as we did the hard-boiled exhibit, which is noir, I had to actually downplay the puns and the witticisms for this, for that little paragraph of text. I had to reduce the amount of puns.
Oh, dang, that's a shame.
But also, real quick about the radio, nothing else on station.
No, it goes
on station 79.2013.
It goes to static.
If I go to any other interesting numbers, anything on channel 66.6?
You flip through the channels, stopping. I don't know how long you spent doing this, but you spend a few seconds at going through them. You hear mumbling on a couple of stations, but nothing clear enough to make out.
Interesting. Maybe the issue here is with my radio reception. If every station is mumbling, maybe I need to check my antenna or something. But, I am on my way to the hotel because it is dusk at this point, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I have any other stops in mind this evening.
All right. So you pull up to the Finch Inn, which is a pretty large 2-3-story building secluded in the woods. It's on a small hill, so you can kind of see the lake and Mount Harley in the distance. You walk in through the front doors and you see a warm, large lobby/dining room with a roaring fireplace. There are 2 figures on either side of the room at their own little table, and an attendant at a large oak front desk.
I think I'll head over to the attendant first.
All right. A nondescript bellhop-like attendant greets you and asks if they can serve you in any way.
My name is Jordan Key. There should be a room under my name.
Oh, right. The government boy. Yeah. Hold on a second.
Wow, word gets around fast.
Well, your room reservations were under FBI.
That would be their fault then. Noted.
So, here's your key. Your room 23, West Wing. Just go up the stairs to your right, and should be no problem. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you, and whose name should I call for?
Jason. A very important name.
Is Jason telling me that in character, or is Nathan telling me that out of character? Because if a person says that in character, there is nothing that makes me more suspicious of a person to say, you don't need to remember my name. But if Nathan, the narrator, is saying
my name is definitely Jason. Just Jason on their little name tag.
Awesome. Thank you. Jason, I can't help but notice the fireplace is lit for a summer night. Is that pretty common around here?
Oh, the owner likes the aesthetics.
Okay, and who's the owner?
He names a local bigwig that does not ring any bells.
Okay. Well, thank you. I will be headed up to my room in a bit. Thank you.
He bows to you and goes back to pushing a penny around the counter.
So you can't ever walk into a foyer area in something like this without scoping out the people sitting down, catching the vibe, maybe asking them about the local goss. So, well, what do these two people look
All right,
like?
well, the one closest to the fireplace is actually looking at you and is scribbling in a notebook. They are wearing dark clothes, which is odd, especially for summer. A long-sleeved jacket, a little trench coat. They look unkempt. It's hard to tell from this distance, but they're hunched over and quite clearly looking at you and glancing between you and their notes.
Okay, I'm not even going to look at the other person yet. I walk straight up to this individual and say, hey, usually I'm the one taking notes, looking at people surreptitiously around a corner. It's kind of an occupational thing. What are you doing?
It doesn't feel nice to be on the other end of the observation, does it, mate?
Who are you?
Oh, like I would give my name to a government boy like you.
Government boy. Is that a local nickname? I've never heard myself called such a thing.
Local nickname.
Besides a few seconds ago.
Do I sound like I'm like this? I'm from around these parts, so mate, I'm in the hotel.
And what brings you to Moonshine?
Wouldn't you like to know? I think you knew all about this, actually.
I think I really don't. Are you not going to be forthcoming with any information to a government boy like myself?
Listen, you lads have been all around here. You know the drill.
So if I was to flash my badge at you and say that I need you to cooperate, would that mean anything to you?
You can certainly try. Let me see it.
I flip out my badge and in doing so, slightly lift up my coat, show that I'm armed, and say, I am going to ask you again for your name.
He does not seem impressed by the weapon, but he does peer at your badge.
Oh boy, right from Washington, right? Yeah, right. FBI, you are new in town. I didn't think you played nice.
So, is there a different government agency around here? You made it sound like there were other people from the FBI here in town.
Oh, well, I suppose that's confirmation, folks. The FBI doesn't play well with the other agencies.
Folks? I look around. I'm like, who are you commentating for?
Oh, just the audience. He's scribbling in his notebook.
Mm-hmm.
The name's Swan. I'm a investigator of sorts.
See, I assumed you were. Now, what makes you actually want to share your name, though?
Oh, well, I didn't give you my first name. You don't even know if it's from our real one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Men like me, I always got an alias or two.
All right. So you're an investigative type, you say. You're not from around here. You've come to Moonshine. You consider me to be a curiosity, a story to write about. Well, I'm also here to figure out a recent case. And it'd be nice to know what kind of information do you exchange for?
Oh, well, I've been here a couple weeks now. I can tell you a thing or few about the town. In exchange for a little dirt on whatever you're investigating. Never had a man on the inside of the government. Be a first.
Well, you still don't. You don't have a man inside the government, but I don't mind sharing with you that I'm here to investigate a murder case, a body that washed up from Cooper's Lake.
He sits up.
Murder? That's the first I've heard of it. Who told you?
Who told me? You really think an FBI agent just shows up apropos of nothing to a little town in Oregon? That I was invited to come here by the sheriff.
That sneaky little rat. They didn't say nothing about this. You said, when did they find this body?
I think it's your turn, Mr. Swan.
Oh, blast. Tell me who the poor bloke was.
I'll say that they were a resident of Moonshine, but the name I will share with you once you tell me what story brought you here a couple weeks ago.
All right. You drive a hard bargain. It's not enough that you take my taxes, now you have to take my story. Right, alright, okay.
Where are you from?
Well, I was from Australia originally, but been here 20 odd years now.
Interesting. I furiously scribble in a notebook as if that's really important information. Just give them a taste of what it feels like.
Right. Well, it was about a month ago. I like to keep my ear to the ground on what various government agencies are doing. Keep an eye on them, right? Because they'll do anything. If you give them if you give them a minute, they'll take you out, right? So I like to keep my eye on these types. So if anything piques my interest, some interesting happenings going on, I'm liable to show up, right? Well, about a month ago, I heard that the DOR were interested in a little town in middle of nowhere, Oregon, called Moonshine, right? An ordinary town, nothing extraordinary about it, and yet the DOR, the Department of Resources, is snooping around here, offering to buy a mountain. That seems mighty suspicious, if you ask me.
Out of character, is the DOR a real agency in our real country?
It is not, which is on purpose.
Good, because I was going to my head, I was like, oh shoot, I don't know nothing about government. I've never heard of that before.
Oh, that's bad. Knowing their history is very important to this whole case, Marcus.
Dang it.
I hope you're paying attention in AP US history, because
oh no. Oh man, it would be wild. It would actually be very funny if the final nail in the coffin of and the DOR was organized 10 years ago. You can't be an agent. You said you've been in there for 12 years. Dun, dun, dun. That'd be epic. Okay, DOR wants to buy a mountain. Mount Harley, I would suppose.
Well, yeah, mountain and the land surrounding it. I guess they don't own all the mountain, but not yet. The sale hasn't officially gone through.
They would need a surveyor to look over and to negotiate, at least get the information between interested parties, right?
Squints his eyes.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I think that this is somewhere where our stories intertwine, because the dead body that was found in Cooper's Lake was Marnie Keeler, wife of Martin Keeler, who I understand was found in a coma while on the job as a surveyor.
My word.
He flips through his notebook furiously.
All right. That was my turn again. Now it's your turn again.
What exactly do you want to know? Turns to the page. Dang it. Blast.
What are you looking for in that book?
Marnie Keeler. I knew she was tied up in here somehow. I heard about her husband. One of the first things I heard when I came to this town. Found outside the mines, comatose. Hasn't woken up since. I tried to visit him in the hospital, but apparently they don't allow visitors of my ilk in there.
And what's your ilk?
Journalist, I'll have you know. A respectable calling with a respectable magazine.
Oh, I was gonna guess a man who sits in a shadowy corner with long-sleeved black clothing. But I'm sure I've heard of your magazine. Which one is it? What's it called?
Oh, it's called The Shadow Hunter's Tattler.
It's you recognize the name as a well-known dime store, grocery store checkout, National Enquirer-esque magazine.
I could have figured that out with context clues, but thank you. So, you're looking to crack your next big story, and it's about a government agency buying a mountain.
Right, and what's more wild than that, mate?
Well, my question is, which of the big three is it? Is it aliens, monsters, or ghosts?
Oh, right. Well, the way I figure it is, aliens ain't got nothing to do here. We haven't seen any sightings in this area of Oregon in I'd say 30-odd years, right? Nothing recent. But ghosts, no terrible murders here. It's a quiet town, right? I did my digging at the library, went to the archives, visited the university, nothing. Couldn't find any history. But cryptids, monsters. There are some oddities in the town's history. Right, no one will talk to me about it because I guess I don't feel about I don't give off the most approachable vibes. I don't know why, but something happened 60 odd years ago with that mountain, right? I mean, you must have heard of it. The airship crash.
Something to do with an airship crash. Yes, I do think I've heard of this.
60 years ago. The downfall of steam, they called it.
A single crash and the steam age was wiped out.
People lost trust in their airships. Started moving on to other modes of transportation whenever it went out of style. I think it was orchestrated by President Hoover.
Yes. That Hoover, always the center of every conspiracy.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I think it might be something to do with the ghost of a former elected official heroically sacrificing themselves to make the airship fall into the mountains rather than onto unsuspecting civilians as sort of a last act of penance after a crummy life of crummy actions.
Well, to each their own beliefs.
Yeah. And how does this connect to cryptids?
Well, not cryptids as such, but a curse. You see, something strange was going on after that crash. No one would tell me about it, and I've tried to talk to those people involved, but I can't get anything out of them.
Well, from one investigator to another, I think there are a couple of things you might be able to do to get people to speak to you more.
Yeah, what's that?
This whole scribbling in the corner, making eye contact from afar, dark clothing, disheveled look, if I may say so.
I mean, you say that, but you're the one who came to talk to me.
You know what? Touche. Incredible. Yeah. All right. Well, Mr. Swan, thank you for the information. I may be speaking to you again if I deem anything that you're working on to be of value to me.
He grabs your arm as you're about to walk away.
Who found the body?
Who found the body?
Yeah, who dragged her out of the lake?
I don't know yet.
Right.
Do I? Should I? Wait. Oh, no, I do.
Do you?
I do.
I don't know that you...
But what's it to you?
Well, I'd like to make some inquiries of my
own. Listener, what are the pros and cons to cluing people more into your investigation? Should there be a healthy distrust for people like this? Here's the thing: if I get Mr. Swan in on this, you know it's gonna spiral into something for the Shadow Hunters.
Tattler.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to be forthcoming with that information right now. I'll just shrug and say the investigation is ongoing.
All right. Well, I'll be here if you have some information for me. I'll do some digging of my own.
Shoot. But what if Mr. Swan is the one person who knows the secret history of Mrs. One second. I did my first notes on sticky notes, and that was just a bad idea because now I don't know what order they go in, and I don't know where I was at what time. But I think it was a neighbor who found Marnie Keeler. I think that they had the name Lynch. Is that right? Caroline Lynch?
Caroline Lynch is one of the people who found the body. She was not the only one.
Okay.
I don't know if you asked the sheriff.
I don't think I have. Well, okay. Well, who knows? If I need to at some point in my investigation, maybe I'll go back to Mr. Shadowhunter Swan. But with that, I tip my hat. I don't think I have a hat, but I pretend to tip one if I did. Who's the other person in the foyer?
Other person is sitting a little farther away, twisting a little black ring between her fingers. She is 20s-ish, has an old pair of steampunk goggles, kind of dressed in like old steampunk garb, which is kind of odd when it's very clearly 1989. Obviously. And she has long gray gloves.
She had a table?
Yep.
Want to sit down and order a drink, but this isn't a tavern. I'm gonna walk over to her and lightly knock on the table and say, I love those goggles. Where did you get those?
Oh, thank you. They were my grandmother's.
Your grandmother, was she the fabled last engineer of the steam age?
Nothing quite as such, but she was brilliant. Her name was Grace. I don't believe I've introduced myself. I'm Kylie Quinn.
Kylie Quinn. Nathan, was there a Grace in the Moonshine exhibit?
There was a Grace Quinn, paranormal investigator, aka the person who brought Harley back from the dead.
Thank you. I knew I recognized the name, but I couldn't remember which role it was. I had goggles because that was me, right?
Yep.
I was Grace.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, I do believe I've heard that name before. My name is Jordan Key. And Kylie, I know I've heard of your grandmother before. Are you also a medium?
Oh, word travels fast. Yes, I have inherited some of my grandmother's gifts, not quite all of them. More her chant and her inquisitive curiosity for the unknown, the occult. My grandmother, she's been gone for many moons now. I've never met her properly.
You haven't spoken to her past the grave?
In small seances. My mother also has the gift. But I've never met her properly. She died soon after. I'm sure coming to this town, you know all about the crash, but she died fairly soon after that.
I see. Is medium work what you do professionally, or are you in school?
Well, I'll try and do it professionally. Not so much medium work, but investigatory work. Yeah, I guess you could say. I was here on a favor to an old schoolmate of mine, Caroline.
Caroline Lynch?
Yeah, we went to the university here in town.
An old friend of yours?
Yeah, she asked me out here to help out a friend of hers, actually.
And the friend of Caroline?
That would be Marnie Keeler, only, well, I was supposed to meet her today, and I suppose in a way I did, but not in the way I'd thought.
I glance over my shoulder at Mr. Swan. Is he watching us? Is he listening?
Oh, absolutely. He has scooted his table closer.
Kylie, would this be the best place to chat? Maybe we should, meet at the restaurant tomorrow? Because I am in town for a very similar reason, and you've intrigued me.
I suppose. What time?
Crack of dawn.
First thing tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, actually. I never got your name.
I think you did.
Did I?
Jordan.
I think I did, yes. And did you tell me that what your purpose in town is besides investigating this murder?
No, I did not. Did you want me to?
Well, it's a little.
I will show her my badge and say I am here under some official government business.
I see.
And when you say that you sort of spoke to Marnie Keeler, color me intrigued. I think there are no less than 3 individuals in this room who have an investigative bent to them.
Spoke is quite the strong word for it, actually. I dragged her out of the lake, so...
Oh. Now here I was imagining that you did a little seance, but you're telling me that you and Caroline together found the body of Marnie Keeler.
Yeah, sorry. Oh my goodness, the sheriff mentioned that she was going to call someone.
Yes, that would be me.
Yeah, we found her floating in the lake this afternoon. I'd just gotten into town and Caroline wanted to show me around the lake, so...
Well, let's put a cork in this conversation and save it for tomorrow. Would I be able to get you and Caroline to sit down with me to get your statements?
I suppose I could call Caroline. She slips the ring over her gloves and scratches her arm. Yeah.
I'm not going to ask her about the ring. I don't care how many times you mention it. I'm not going to ask her. I definitely didn't write down first thing on my notes, black ring, conspicuously fingering. And next to that, a note I'm writing right now, not important. Not
Chekhov's ring.
Chekhov's not important ring. But yeah, is this a reasonable request, Kylie? And would the SS Diner be a good place to meet, or would you prefer we meet at Caroline's house?
SS Diner, yeah, I don't know very well. It's new in town, so good as place as any, I suppose.
Okay, well then let's do that. First thing tomorrow.
Okay, well, I'll call up Caroline.
Excellent. And with that, I think I retire to my room.
All right. So, you go up to your room, and it's a standard hotel room from the late 80s. There's a small phone, a little bed, and a nice window view of the lake.
Ooh, nice. Is there a Gideon's Bible?
Of course.
Good. All right, a good view of the lake. Any like green flash, any suspicious misty personage walking on the waves.
As you look at the lake, you can see the outline of a sawmill with a singular light on. You can see across the lake at the base of the mountain a couple scattered lights, like people are there gathered. Can't quite make it out from where you are, but there's people on the other side of the lake.
Scattered lights?
Yeah, so could be scattered cars, could be little lanterns, not houses by any means, but like small lights, I suppose.
Well, I know that on the other side of the lake are the mines. I also know that the DOR is apparently in talks to buy the mountain, and I would assume the mine as well. So maybe I should schedule an appointment over there tomorrow as well. See what I can learn about this mysterious land acquisition.
All right. Anything else you want to do before you go to bed?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you lie down in the bed and you close your eyes. It takes a little bit to fall asleep because, uncomfortable hotel room and whatnot. But soon, sleep takes you, which is odd. You haven't actually slept in one of these exhibits before.
Unless I was knocked out.
Yes, exactly. This is an oddly peaceful feeling, kind of like falling asleep during a dream within a dream. But as you're drifting away, you hear something. A slight... Yeah, that's it. You hear the sweet, dulcet tones of a saxophone.
What?
And your vision brightens. You're lying on the ground in a room of thick, heavy red carpet with a chevron pattern ground in. All around you are these floor-to-ceiling, heavy red curtains. Curling around some of the edges are some dark black swirling tendrils. The curtains go all the way around the room, but you can see there's a gap in them that leads to what you assume is a hallway. The jazz music is pretty loud at this point. You feel a little muffled, a little hazy. You're in control.
What color was the carpet in the hotel I went to bed in?
Not red.
Not red.
This is not at all like any of the rooms you've been in thus far. This feels
Go ahead.
A dream state.
I mean, I figured that out, but does it look like a hotel?
No, it doesn't.
Well, I follow the sultry sax music. I get up and I walk towards the curtains.
All right. You walk towards...
And sorry. Important point. Black tendrils. What's going on here? Are they reaching out towards me, or are they just ambiance?
They're not reaching out towards you. They seem content enough to stay where they are at the moment.
Right on. All right. Yeah, I walk towards the curtains.
All right, so you walk towards the curtains. You see there's a gap in the curtains leading to a long hallway with many gaps in the curtains leading to various other rooms, you assume. The saxophone music is pretty loud at this point.
I want to peek into a couple of these rooms. Are there other people in them?
You walk down. As you go farther in, the tentacles do get a little more prevalent. You notice there's some gold plaques above some of the rooms. You also notice a sound cutting through some of the saxophone, a muttering, a mumbling.
Hello, mumbling, my old friend. What did the plaques say?
They seem to be almost random words. Predict, suggest, studio, principal, shutter, lock. You do not have to write all these down at the moment.
But I'm trying. Predict, suggest, shutter, lock. Wow. And are there people in these rooms?
Not until you reach the last room on the little corridor, where you see a figure huddled in the corner with a shawl. In their hand, they're facing away from you, but in their hands you can see that they're holding teddy bear.
No.
As you watch, they rip off the head of the teddy bear, revealing a tape recorder.
Is this a little girl?
No. They still haven't noticed you yet. You're standing in the doorway. Back is to you. The shawl is covering their head.
I watch them for a moment longer.
They are the source of the strange noise. It seems like they're speaking. They're saying stuff, but you cannot understand what they're saying.
And there's not a saxophonist in here.
There's not a saxophone.
Is there?
The saxophone music is purely ambiance. Ambiance.
Okay, so it's being piped in by speakers. All right, I'm going to knock on the side of the door and say, I think I'm lost.
You speak, and the figure turns around, and it's Genevieve.
Hello, Jen. I think you have some splaining to do.
She cocks her head. She jumps up first and shouts something at you, but it sounds like gibberish. Hold on a second.
Genevieve, can you understand me?
There doesn't seem to be comprehension. She's gesturing at you, trying to communicate, but all that's coming out is strange, garbled noise.
If you want me to reverse your audio...
As she's talking to you, she holds up a finger, presses record on her tape recorder, speaks into it, stops it, and then reverses it.
Marcus, what are you doing here? How?
Do I have my tape recorder?
You do.
Huh. I pull it out and I... Is there anything else about her that feels reversed? Is the way that she ripped that teddy bear, does it feel like she's moving backwards, or is it really just her voice?
It's really just your voice as far as you can tell.
Okay. I take my tape recorder and I say, how did I get here? I have the same question for you, considering the last time I saw you was just a few hours ago in the betrayal exhibit. Betrayal. I reverse it.
Oh, yeah.
You see a look of sadness flit over her face, and she speaks into your tape recorder.
Marcus, I am sorry. I know that... But you're fine. I mean... Yeah, I shouldn't have left you. But you got out all right, seems.
She looks you up and down.
I look up and down. Do I look like Jordan Key?
No, you don't. Not in this dream state. You look like yourself.
All right. Well, I'm glad to see you, but it's not because I'm happy to see you. I want some answers from you. First of all, where do you think you are right now? Second of all, what is the second favor that Melanoy asked you to do? And third of all, where is your sister? The one apparently you made so many sacrifices for.
You notice that she looks crestfallen as you say that last part. She starts to record.
This is the Red Room. This is Melanoy's domain. Her influence in this world, this exhibit. She has a presence here, and this is how it manifests to those who have been touched by her in some way, shape, or form. So, I guess that includes you. Now, strange.
Remind me of the second question.
I shouldn't have asked 3 questions at once. The third question was... Oh, the second question was, what's the favor Illinois asked of you?
Well, it actually ties back to the Moonshine exhibit. With that amulet I asked you to get, it wasn't complete. It's only half of it. We have to find the other half. And as for Emmeline,
She stops, and she cocks her head, presses recording, records it one more time, and says,
"Oh, okay. Do you hear that? Okay, come on."
She reverses it long enough for you to hear that before she sprints off into one of the plaque doorways.
Which one?
She goes through Wonder.
And what's inside Wonder?
Just another maze of hallways. She runs from hallway to hallway, and you do your best to keep up, but after a couple turns, she's out of sight. You make one final turn and slip as you see that the edge of the hallway disappears into an inky black abyss. And you wake up in a cold sweat.
Well, Genevieve, I suppose I will see you in my dreams.
Sag in the road, snit the wish babby around matter.